Ladies and gents, welcome back. Hey, it's been a whole other week once again, and here we are in the live stream. If this is your first time tuning into this live stream, this is what we do every Friday evening. Well, hopefully every Friday evening. There's going to be a few coming up, and I'll let you guys know about that I won't be able to live stream, including next week. So next week won't be a live stream on Friday, and that is because it is my beautiful little daughter's birthday, and well, I'm going to be spending that with her. We're going to be throwing her a big party, and that's just the thing. Sorry, family comes first. But hey, every Friday we do this. With the rare occasion where something else is going on. But hey, welcome. The usual routine. If you're new to the channel entirely, every morning, Monday through Friday, I do videos in the early hours. Wake up in the wee hours of the morn to make videos about the news, current events, things are happening here around Canada, around the world, into the south, our neighbors. Do stories that I think are important for everybody out there to hear about, that maybe you may not be hearing about from the mainstream media, or maybe you're just getting some kind of spin. This is what I do. I look at all the sources and then I try to unravel the spin that they put on it, the mystical web that they have as this mainstream media apparatus. So welcome. What I like to do every Friday evening is give back to the community. You guys give so much to this channel and you guys put so much effort into it. I can't thank you guys enough. Appreciate it so much, watching all the videos, doing all the great things like commenting, hitting that like button, which, hey, hit that like button. It helps for sure in the algorithm. But yes, I can't thank you guys enough. Sharing the videos out, watching them, keeping it up on the algorithmic feed, sharing it out to many more people out there to get the word out on the stories that we're covering here. So I like to give back to the community, hang out in the live stream, get to discuss some things a little bit more in depth, maybe a little bit further, talk with you guys and get a little feedback from you all. And here's the chat. Let's bring this in. Chippy's Outdoor, member for 11 months. Holy cow, almost a year now. Hit them likes, thumbs up, and share. 11 months. Holy cow. Yeah, holy cow. Wow, that's been some time. Amazing. Thank you so much for the support over these amazing 11 months as this all happens. Oh my God, my BF Clyde, lol. There we go. Nobody tells me what to do. Yeah, okay, you don't have to do it. I'm just saying it helps out a lot. It's amazing. Hit that like button. It costs nothing. It's free. Another thing that's great to do is hit that share and copy link, because you can copy it and then paste it out onto different social medias. But it is definitely a signal to YouTube that you're copying a link. Hey, that's another engagement. It's always good. The comments, the chats, everything helps out a ton. And thank you guys all so much for it. And yeah, let's get that likes to viewers ratio up. We got 144 currently watching the channel, 76 likes. Bring that on up. What it does is it tells the algorithm, hey, I've got a bunch of other people that have a similar profile, the videos that they watch. Hey, they'd probably want to see something like this too. Maybe we should share that out to a few more people, because so many people in that live stream are liking it, and that's usually the way it works. Hey, go Oilers. I guess, is it what, Oilers versus Toronto right now? I'm not a sports ball guy or a sports puck guy. Not so much. Matt Morick, thank you so much for joining as a member to the channel. Appreciate that. I liked Fire and Dance. Okay, Fire and Dance. Welcome, everybody. We're going to get into a bunch of stuff I'm looking forward to, and I have actually been looking forward to this one for the whole week, actually. So we got a special guest coming in, and, you know, people need to laugh these days, especially these days with the way things have been going. You often hear me chuckling in videos. I guess it's my coping mechanism for when everything just goes crazy, to just kind of chuckle, laugh at just the craziness that's going on in our country and in the world. this is something that we do to cope, but it's always good to have a laugh. So I've got an amazing comedian coming on, someone who's been following for years. Chippy Outdoors gifted 5 memberships to the channel. Thank you so much. Make sure if you got a gifted membership, you get into that chat and you say thank you so much, Chippy Outdoors, or Chippy's Outdoor. Thank you so much. I've been following this comedian for a good 4 years, I think now, on his channel Danger Cats, and he's going to be on this evening. That's Uncle Hack, and he's going to come in. So just a warning to all of those people out there. I know I don't do a lot of swears in my videos. And I do that for a reason. I make sure that, you know, if you've got kids in the room, if you got people hanging out, you got Granny at the end of the table with you there, and she's got her hearing aids in. You're not going to hear any swears out of me. This is the normal thing. But tonight, at about the hour mark, we're going to be bringing in Uncle Hack, and he does spicy comedy. So just a forewarning, it's going to get spicy. And well, it's just part of the show. So you've been forewarned. So if there's kids in the room, earmuffs it is. Get them headphones on at about the 1 hour mark, because that's what's happening tonight. But until then, we're going to cover some stories, and we're going to go over some of the stuff that's been going on in Canada as of late, as of this week. And holy cow, it's getting somewhere. I love spicy. Cindy White Elliott, I love spicy too. Spicy comedy is great. It's just well, this is what I wanted to bring him on for, because Canada's gone so woke. The Western world has gone woke, and you're not allowed to joke about stuff. If even the perception of offending somebody is there, you should just shut it down. No. In fact, a guy that I work with, he's an avid fan of comedy. He does stand up occasionally from time to time of his own, and he told me the last 3 comedy shows in our town, the venues made the comedian sign a waiver saying that they won't say anything offensive, and if they do, the show will be just like, their show will be shut down. They'll be pulled off the stage, I'm assuming with a giant comical cane. I don't know if there's any other way of pulling people off stage when they're misbehaving, but this is the reality of the situation. So if you want to see a good show, you're gonna have to find the right people and the right venues. That's really the way it is. And we'll be talking with Uncle Hack about that later. I missed this show in Vancouver. I was at the Ben Bankus show just the day before, and I didn't know that Uncle Hack was going to be there. But he went and did a tour in Ontario, I think in Quebec as well. But we're going to get into that. We're going to talk with him about all of that stuff. Oh my God, it's Clyde Do Something. Yeah, okay, all right. Oh, this chat is unpredictable and it's fun. I love it. Thank you guys so much. Hey, a little bit of a roll call. Tell me, where are you from, and where did you get the notification to join the stream tonight? So just where you're from and where was the notification from. Did you get your notification from YouTube? Did you get it from Discord? Did you get it from Twitter? I'm just trying to figure out some analytics for doing things in the future with the channel, and where to spend my time and efforts at, because I definitely, from my wife, Calgary, nice. These are the things that definitely help out just to where should I spend my time and my efforts and my energy on alerting you guys to where it is I should be making sure that the notifications are going out from. YouTube notifications. I'm guessing lots of YouTube notifications. Some from the Discord. Yeah, Toronto, Discord notice from Margaret Free. Thank you for letting me know. Ontario, YouTube. Edmonton, YouTube. Great. Port Coquitlam, Terry Fox, hometown. I'm subbed and came here to make fun of you not liking hockey. Be a man. I said that I don't like hockey. I just don't follow it. I mean, if I'm at a game, it's really fun. It's just, yeah, that's an investment, following hockey. Holy cow, it's a thing. Blocked? What? Okay, Discord, YouTube, Discord notice. Okay, lots of people from the Discord coming in. Vancouver, BC. Yep. No puck for me. West Coast. So, and most people are going to be angry because I grew up as a Toronto fan. I mean, I grew up in southwestern Ontario. It was that or Detroit, and I was like, nah, I'll stick with the Canadian team. And that was the one. That was the one I stuck with. Man, I wasn't anywhere near Ottawa, and I wasn't gonna go for the Ottawa. Anyway. Yeah, hockey's a thing. It definitely is. YouTube 8. Oh, Watoma, Wisconsin, USA. Nice. I love seeing so many American viewers that are concerned about what's going on in Canada. I think more Americans should be concerned about what's going on in Canada. You know, Tucker Carlson was going to do an entire documentary, a docuseries, part of his docuseries on Canada. It was called Oh Canada, and it got kiboshed. It got scrapped because they fired him because of his viewpoint. Now, just listen to that. Fox News fired Tucker Carlson for his viewpoints. That means he was onto something. When the establishment comes after you that bad, that's crazy. When even Rupert Murdoch's like, I can't do that. No, you're saying stuff. Here. All right, let's get into some of this stuff. Some of the memes from this week were fantastic. Just getting into some of this. Now we had Vesper on last week. And you guys get a real treat for the ones that are tuning into the live streams, because this is where we do the podcast. So the podcast gets recorded during the live stream. I'll cut it up, I'll cut the segment with the guest, and then I'll publish it at a later date, so that you can see it again if you watched it in this. But if you didn't watch it in the live stream, then you don't get it for like about a week or so. So. Well, depending on the week. So, yeah, Vesper was on last week, and I think I'm going to publish that one on Monday, I believe. And, excuse me, I got the burps already. Yeah, and he's a designer, and he's coming up with so many of these. He's not a designer, he's the designer. It's amazing. He does amazing graphic design. Fantastic guy, and on a mission to take down the liberals. The liberal democracy. This is what we've been dealing with these days. And well, let's get the chat in here as well. So we can look at some of these memes. Elon cut 90% of Twitter's staff, and it's still working fine. Should we try that with the government next? Yeah, maybe. This one killed me. Mommy, I think I'm a boy. Well, you're not. And they lived happily ever after. That's the end of that. We're just, of course, yeah, the Satan Con that was on last weekend. Yikes! This one got me in trouble. There was some viewers that were not pleased with this. You shouldn't joke about religious things. I thought it was funny, so I shared it out. Jerry Springer already causing trouble in the afterlife. Let's bring out Mary's husband, Joseph. Yeah, he's a shit disturber. I mean, what can you say? He's gonna keep on doing that forever. I love this one. This one's great. Which website would you like to see? I don't want you to know, he says to Google Chrome. Well, what about telling Mr. Incognito? Okay, no problem. Sure, I'll tell your app. Wow, people just buy this stuff. It's amazing. We got more of these. Holy cow, I got scrolled back down. Vesper, again, making more of these amazing illustrations, and a perfect illustration of how the Liberal convention went last week. This is, oh, the best one yet, original must tweet. Nice. This one is one of my favorites. It's too good. I mean, it illustrates it perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. And then we've got the liberal democracy, the emphasis on the demon. Absolutely. Just amazing work, though. Seriously. This one I loved. Breaking. Scientists warn Earth could run out of conspiracy theories by 2025 if they keep coming true at the current rate. Oh, and we're going to get into one of those that was a conspiracy theory. What was it? CBDCs? Central bank digital currencies. That was a conspiracy theory until what? Last week? Until last week. Now, 3 powers of government, learning this in school. Teacher says, what are the 3 powers of government? Me. Print money, interference and of private property, and overspending. The teacher, that's wrong. Me, that's very wrong. It needs to stop. Oh, I love this one. And this one I put out there as the oxymoron of the day, and that's leftist logic. We voted to raise taxes on property owners, not renters. Why did our rent go up? Womp womp. So this is just, you know, the fundamentals of how things work in an economy. No to CBDCs, never. Well, we'll see how that goes. It's yeah, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna definitely get into that. But this whole idea, like, we want you to raise taxes on people who have stuff that I don't have the stuff. So I want you to raise it on them. Make sure that they pay more taxes because I'm not an owner. I rent. Well, what do you think's gonna happen? What do you think's gonna happen? Anytime a tax is raised on anything, it just gets pushed down onto the consumer. Every time. Taxes equal higher prices. Period. And if you put up like crazy taxes, and what was it? Quick Dick McDick, the farmer from the prairies, YouTuber, he did a great video about how the carbon tax is just going to lead to more expensive food. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Every person in the chain of farming, from the guy who supplies the fertilizers to the guy who's buying the fertilizers because there's taxes on that, to the people who are trucking it out to them, to the people that are farming the land and using fuels, and then the people that are picking up the food and then delivering it to stores. All that fuel that's used and extra exorbitant taxes are put on it. They've got a low enough profit margin as it is. They're just going to pass that cost on to the people who are buying food. It's the way it is. It's the way it is. That's why the oxymoron of the day is leftist logic. And I purposely say leftist logic because there are people that are, right of center, left of center, and whatever. I mean, those are normal people. I'm talking about crazy lefties that are so far gone. They're in la la land. They went to university and they've been taught all of this stuff, and they have gawking faces like this. Either too smug or just gawking away at things. But this is where we're at. But why don't we get into some of this stuff here? Oh yeah, sorry. Before I want to get into some of these stories that I was progressive logic. There you go. Yeah, progressives. I mean, are they progressive though? It's really regressive what they're doing. Oh, I sound like Dave Rubin right now. Regressive. I agree with you. But that's the thing. Oh yeah, they are. Their ideas are regressive. And well, I mean, conservatives, are you really conserving what we've got now? I don't want to conserve what we've got now. I would like to progress into a more free and open society. That would be nice. That would probably be the thing. And part of that is when our side does stuff, when people on our side of the aisle or our side of the fight are doing stuff that we disagree with, that we hate, when people do it on the left and it drives you nuts. It's got to drive you nuts too when people are doing it on our side of the things. And I'm not particularly calling out one individual on this because I saw this shared out by a lot of people. This is, and I'm not even going to show, I'm going to not even show who the tweet is from, but this is a video that has been circulating around Twitter and other social medias. And I want you to catch this because this is something of Justin Trudeau saying something, and I want you to hear it very closely. Pay attention.
Regardless of the fact that we are attacking your fundamental rights or limiting your fundamental rights, and the Charter says that's wrong, we're still going to go ahead and do with it. It's basically a loophole that allows a majority to override fundamental rights of a minority. Regardless.
Wow, indeed. Wow, 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 wow. Now, that sounds exactly like what he's been doing, right? And it sounds like, hey, here's the clip of him coming out and just saying what it is that he's been doing all along. Wow, amazing. Now, this is where I hate that the truth is not this. I hate that the truth is not this, and I hate when people do this in any situation. Here's the actual video, and this is the thing that drives me nuts when somebody takes a clip and then they remove 10 seconds on either side of it that really put it into context for what is actually being said. Because he wasn't saying what you think he was saying because of this clip was taken. It was cut. It was cut. And let's get into the actual clip.
What the notwithstanding clause does is says, regardless of the fact that we are attacking your fundamental rights or limiting your fundamental rights, and the Charter says that's wrong.
You catch that? Just the very, very beginning, very few words in the first sentence change everything about what that had, what the
notwithstanding clause does is says, regardless of the fact that we are attacking your fundamental rights or limiting your fundamental rights, and the Charter says that's wrong, we're still going to go ahead and do with it.
So here's the thing. That's fake news. If people are going around and they're sharing that, and I, you know, we have to be, you have to stand on your principles that you won't do that. You don't like it when people are doing it to you, or they don't like it when people are doing it to other people that you're supporting. It's awful. It's an awful thing to do, and I disagree with it. Absolutely. Don't do it. And I wanted to show people that this is what's going on here in this clip. Now, he goes on to say that the notwithstanding clause was put in there by his daddy, dear old daddy, to basically make the Charter of Rights and Freedoms into a charter of privileges and will allow you to do this. It made the entire document completely toothless. The government can repeal it at any point using the notwithstanding clause, and he goes on to say about how his dear old daddy was the one who made that possible. Yay! And well, that's what he did. So they spent all that time drafting a Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which, yeah, with a stroke of a pen, was turned into a Charter of Privileges. And I hope we don't do this, but we might need to in the future. Just don't count on it, because, you know, your rights are rights only if they cannot be infringed. And that's the problem. That's the problem. The government does not see our rights and freedoms as things that cannot be infringed upon. They see it as, well, if we need to. Well, if we need to is not what a right is. A right is fundamental. A right is categorical, is something that cannot be taken away from you. It's written in the Charter too, that, you know, endowed upon you from your creator. But notwithstanding clause makes it null and void. It makes it have no teeth. You mean stepdaddy Clyde? Yeah. Well, anyway, I wanted to share this one because, and I'll get this out of the way because I just want, you know, when people are sharing things around, it's good to know that, you know, there are these clips out there, and when some people take it out of context, you got to tell them, hey, this isn't right. You shouldn't be doing that. That's not cool. Please don't share out stuff like that as a just out of principle. Don't do this because it's not right. Anyway, let's get into what was the biggest conspiracy theory of the year. Biggest conspiracy theory of the year. What was it? CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Hey, it was a conspiracy theory forever until about 2 weeks ago when they said, "Oh yeah, you know that thing that you all have been saying that we've been planning for a long time?" Well, it turns out we have been planning that for a long time, and we want to get your opinion on how it would be when we roll it out. What do you think? How's it gonna play out in your life? So here we go. Central bank digital currencies. The Bank of Canada says they're beginning public consultation into creating a digital Canadian dollar. What? Why would they do that? Hey, cool. Government is trying to make my life easier with a digital currency, CBDCs. Here's the narrow mind looking at the convenience, but then there's the centralization. All your movements and actions are traceable, trackable, zero anonymity, zero cybersecurity, or cybersecurity attacks. They can happen. Zero privacy. Banks have full control of every penny you own, vulnerability to state and foreign actors, social credit scores. Oh, if you think that is just a conspiracy theory, think again. They're still going to call it a conspiracy theory until that one is 2 weeks out, and they'll have a question period about that one too. Every transaction is documented. Access to your money can be turned off at any moment. Frozen funds. Hey, did we ever see anybody with frozen funds? Did that ever happen? No, that's never happened in Canada. There's no precedent for that. Why would there be? No way. Yeah, that definitely happened during the Freedom Convoy when the government stepped. It's so funny too because protesters come all the way from the corners of the country to say, government, you've overstepped. And they say, hold my beer. I'm about to freeze your bank accounts. I'm not your buddy guy with the 550 super chat. CBDCs will be the bear trap snapping shut on our freedoms. Then only a violent and painful struggle will set you free. Well, struggle is right. You just wait for these the struggle sessions. Those will be coming soon enough. What happened to the chat? Why can't I get that one thing off of there? What's going on? I'm gonna have to. Do I have to hit refresh on this? No, the chat's glitched out on me. Oh, I fixed it briefly for a second. There we go. I don't know why that glitched out on me, but thank you so much. Sorry about that. Thank you so much. I'm not your buddy guy for the 550 super chat. Really appreciate that. But yeah, central bank digital currencies, they're going to cause a lot of issues here. BA with a 550 super chat. Digital currency is about trying each other. Oh, I'm just going to read this on the other screen. Digital currency is about tying each person to federal debt. Those fiscal policies, debt. People need to see the long game. Absolutely. And the long game is this is where it really gets egregious, is the ability to make these things expire, to have digital currencies expire within your own bank account, forcing you to spend the money while you have it on goods and services, forcing people's hands in an economy. It definitely takes away your free will to act within a market economy. It's not even a market economy at that point, and it's similar to what happened in Russia with their central bank that they had, and you could only get a bank account with the central bankers in Russia. I forget the name of it, but it had some Russian name. This is the People's Bank, it translated to. And yeah, it was essentially that. If you spoke out against the government, you spoke out about anything too much, they just shut your money off. Done. You have no access to it. But with the digital currencies, this is where it gets even scarier. But we're going to get into that. Forcing you to spend on what they decide you need to spend it on. That's the thing. Being able to program this stuff. And they think it's fantastic and it's so enlightening and it's great. Now, the Western Standards article came out and said, we will continue to supply, the Western Standard didn't say this, the Bank of Canada did. We will continue to supply banknotes as long as Canadians want them. It will simply be another way to pay. Now, that is until, well, if I want them, you're still going to make them? No, that's until they seed the popularity enough that they can get rid of it. And this is really what it comes down to. It's sowing the seeds of making this a completely cashless digital society. And then all we got to do is install a credit system that is attached to that, a social credit system, not a regular credit system. That is actually what is going on. This week on AM 640 Propaganda Talk Radio, they started playing 1-minute news clips of if you want to try electronic currency for convenience in the way they always get people. Absolutely, it's always about convenience. Now, they had this survey, and they wanted to throw that out. Before we get into that, let's talk about when it was still a conspiracy theory. Now, it's hard to find this clip on YouTube. I don't know why, but I got this one from the Romanian TV, and he was sharing this clip. And this is a clip of Majid Nawaz on Joe Rogan's show talking about the central bank digital currencies.
You see it. Our teams are now embedded in governments around the world. That's actually what they wrote.
Yes.
And the video is 2 minutes. I didn't play all of it. It's what he says.
But what he's saying there sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Figuring out on strategic ways to end the lockdown easily.
No,
that makes sense?
Not the end of lockdown. No.
Well, didn't he say that?
Yeah. Keep in mind, Tony Blair is the one who's been advocating for vaccine passports, digital identification through COVID, and all of these measures.
But didn't they say that about ending the lockdowns and keeping businesses?
Once those measures are in place. Right, so he's even in the UK. His stance has been, yeah, we're going to get out of all it, but you have to have digital ID, and you have to have. So during the war,
this is going to introduce the social credit score system.
Right. So, all of that came from your question, which is.
By the way, this was all upset worldwide by a bunch of truckers from Canada. So pat yourself on the back, every one of you that are out there that supported the truckers. This is what upset the Apple Card. It was really going to be pushed in there. The whole Arrive Can was just a step towards installing an app so that you could get a barcode. Why wouldn't you just be able to go? So here's the deal, right? So I went to Japan, just about a month ago. And when I went to Japan, they wanted to make sure that you had all the stuff that you had. So I had to take a PCR test to go into the country. It was still mandatory at the time. So, I got my thing from the cotton swab and then the results, they went to the Japanese website, and I put them in on the Japanese website. I never had to download an app. It was just insert your information here. It wasn't even like personal information. I don't remember if I even had to put my passport. It was just like my name. I only showed my ID to the doctors that I and it was my health card. And then that information got passed along, and it was very secure. It felt legit. And then they just issued a barcode, and then I could just snap a shot on their website. And then I didn't have the thing in my phone. It didn't track anything. There's none of that stuff, none of the spyware that was going on with the apps that were put on in all through Canada. I mean, people in British Columbia had to have it. People in other provinces had to have it. And if you wanted to cross the borders, you had to get my name is Q-Tip Rex. But yeah, this is a thing. So this was being pushed, and it was the truck drivers that said, nope, this is enough. We're not doing this. We're going to Ottawa. So it really pushed their plans far behind. They would have been way more forward on this if it wasn't for the whole convoy in Canada, and inspiring the rest of the world to say, forget it. No, we're not doing this. So here we go. Let's watch more of this clip.
Regardless of intention, how do people do that infiltration from within? It's not just Twitter. So back to the psychological operations. It's also embedding people in government who are subscribed to this agenda. Yeah? And the agenda of Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum is the same as the agenda of Tony Blair in this regard. They call it on their own website, they call it the Great Reset. That's what they say themselves.
Yeah, that's a bizarre thing to do, to openly. Why do you think they openly discuss it that way? And openly, because the Great Reset has always been this gigantic conspiracy theory among the online folks. Like, this is all part of the Great Reset. Well, when he wrote a fucking book called The Great Reset, you're like, hey, man, shouldn't you be hiding this?
And in 2017 at Harvard, he's saying, you know, we're going to basically, all of these world leaders will penetrate their cabinets with our young global leaders. He's open about this. He's open. Blair's open. During the Iraq War, Blair tried to bring in ID cards in Britain. He failed. Now he's back, and he's trying to bring in digital ID during COVID, right? So they're open about it.
So this is going to be this never-ending process to slowly move the goalposts
towards more and more authoritarianism. Checkpoint society. It's all there. They told us this.
People have to realize this, right? This is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are realizing this.
I think you managed to see in 2 minutes why the establishment really dislikes Joe Rogan. And this is due to the fact that one of the...
So he goes on to give some narrative towards this. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the entire clip. So the clip goes on and he talks about central bank digital currencies and how Tony Blair is excited that these digital currencies can be manipulated. You can control them from the central authority at the end user ends. So if you know that a person has these tokens in the central digital currency, you can determine what it is they're allowed to spend on. So you can limit what people can spend on, and well, for various reasons, whatever reasons that the government or the authorities, the central authority, deems that they feel that they want this. Now, this is such a crazy concept. I mean, everybody should see this as a crazy concept, but even the people that are cheering this on should see this as the craziest concept, because people are cheering this on. Wow, this is going to be so convenient and it's going to be great. And on the same breath, they're like, if Polyev ever gets into government, he's going to be a tyrant. Well, why would you give him the power that you're granting to the Trudeau liberals? Why would you ever do that? What is going on in your noodle? That smooth brain. What is happening? Why would you want to give such power and authority to government and then risk it all being taken over by some guy that you don't even like, that you think is on the wrong path? It's unbelievable to me. I'm not your buddy guy. It says, gives a $5.50 super chat. Thank you so much. It's very hard not being black pilled. With modern AI, the level of monitoring and control will be unimaginable. We will become slaves to the state. It is hard to not become black pilled. It really comes down to a real fundamental understanding of how central authorities work, how economic systems work, how human nature works. These systems always fall apart. Yes, they'll gain control at a point, and it'll be really bad. This is the thing. This is what's coming. I mean, we're all trying to slow it down. We're all trying to stop it. We're all trying to open people's eyes. And the more we work at opening people's eyes, the more they'll see it when it happens, because it's coming. It's coming regardless. And I'm not trying to be, civil war is coming. No, I honestly think that a lot of this is going to happen, and it's going to be a point where it gets so bad that people go, I remember when a guy told me about that. I remember when some guy, he was saying this and I thought he was crazy. I thought he was totally crazy. But then that moment they'll clue in, they'll click, and then now we have a chance of fighting our way out of it. And the problem is with these systems is every time you try to set up a central authority, the central authority can't figure out what everybody should be doing all the time. This is a thing, and they have some faith in AI, that AI is going to do this. It's going to figure out the price mechanism that communism couldn't figure out in the Soviet Union, couldn't figure out in communist China. Couldn't figure out in any other instance where they tried communism. They think that AI is going to be the solution. This is going to be the thing that's going to figure it all out. Well, guess what? AI can't even figure out how many words it uses in its own sentences. Literally, look that up. No joke. Like AI, you know, it's got some good things going for it. And by all means, it's going to be a great tool, but it is not going to be the savior. If anything, it's going to be a horrible thing. AI is the new boogeyman. Yeah, it's crazy. Like the faith that people have in this AI, and I don't believe it to be this savior of mankind or anything like that. No, it's going to be a useful tool, and people will use it for good and they'll use it for bad. I think that right now there's been this huge, massive push towards decentralization, and this is the government's move towards regaining centralization. Right? People were moving away from traditional means of exchange, using digital currencies or whatever to get around tariffs and fees, to get products and services from each other without having to deal with, you know, the gatekeepers. And this is the government's trying to regain their hold as gatekeepers. And I know a lot of people, they're buying Bitcoin and they're only just holding it. They're not actually using it, but some people are using other tokens or currencies, things like that. Even the dollars that we have, but we're trading with US dollars. You could have an account somewhere that just has US dollars, and you don't even bother with your Canadian dollars. You earn money online. You just keep it online. You don't cash out. You just keep it out there so you can buy other products and services. This is a thing, and they want dibs on that. The US is cracking down. Canada's cracking down. This is the way it's going. Nathaniel Racine, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, with a 550 super chat, decided that my 10-year plan was now a 5-year plan. Last month, they censored internet, started taking away guns. Now CBDCs, Canada's not okay. Goodbye. Well, a lot of people are taking that route. Some people are taking off, and they don't want to be here when the proverbial dung goes flying up into the propeller. This is the way it's going. But hey, I don't blame anybody. I don't blame anyone that wants to check out. It's a thing. But this fight is global. You got to realize that. If you leave, it's going to follow you where you go. I'm in it for the long haul. No matter where I am, if I'm forced to leave Canada out of fear or whatever, I'm still in the fight. I'm not abandoning it because this is a global fight now, right? And of course, always sticking up for my home country here. But hey, let's get into this. CBDCs. Hey, they want to know what you think, and you know they're gonna decide where they're gonna go forward on this based on the input that you give. You're blessed. You can leave. I'm only going to leave if I have to. I don't want to leave. I love it here. Global fight. What the heck did I miss? Yes, they're globalists, right? We're fighting for the sovereignty of each individual territory. I stand firm on that. They want a one world government, and Elon Musk even said it when they had him at the World Economic Forum, and he said, you know, it's good that people are getting together, but maybe they should not get so close together because that could be a really bad thing. T-Bass with the $13.99 super chat. Have no hope. Good coverage. Been here since the Convoy. We're what is this? We're turning commie. Trudeau has lost the right to breathe. We need, wow, that's strong words. We need a PM that wasn't hacked in. YouTube's not letting me say Trudeau. Wonder why. Yeah, it's crazy. I've done that a few times on channels where I'm super chatting and I have to do some weird spelling. And mind you, I'm dyslexic, so when you give me weird spelling like that, I'm gonna trip all over your super chat. Sorry, I read it. And T-Bass, thank you so much for the comment. But holy cow, it's hard to read that when it's all like that. That's it, Clyde. I'm moving in with you. Too funny. So the Bank of Canada really really wants to know what you have to say about this whole story on CBDCs. Hey, are we gonna go with the CBDCs? Are we really gonna go with it? I don't know. It just depends on what the Canadians think. Does it? Do they actually care? Now, we got some insight from the survey here, and these screen grabs are not the best ones because they're tiny print. But here's some of the stuff that are on in this survey. Most Canadians have bank accounts and may have credit cards. However, people who don't have bank accounts or credit cards can use cash. Cash is a widely accepted method of payment, and it works offline, which means that it can be used even if there is a power outage or no internet connection. Cash always gives one the opportunity to be part of the economy. A digital Canadian dollar would be designed with the same objective in mind. What? I thought this was a survey. I thought this was asking me my opinion. Why is it giving me an opinion? Hold on. Here we go. Canada's currency. The Bank of Canada is the only authority that can issue banknotes in Canada. A digital Canadian dollar would be the same. It would be issued and backed by the central bank. However, it is possible that in the future, private digital currencies, example Bitcoin, or CBDCs issued by foreign countries, could be widely used in Canada. This could compromise the central role in the Canadian dollar in our economy. So basically saying, we can't control what you spend your money on. We can't manipulate the dollar to foster trade in one direction or another. We have that control right now, and we don't want to let go of it. And if you start using other coins, we might have an actual free market, and we can't have that. We need to have our tariffs. We can't have you buying things across the border without paying us first. I'm not your buddy guy with the 220 super chat. Let's organize a campaign to give them our opinion. Oh, this is funny. That's funny. Yeah, I'd like to organize that campaign. It keeps going. Bank of Canada, how interested would you be in having a payment method in addition to cash that works offline when the internet is down or there is a power outage? And then how interested would you be? Yeah, it's called money. It's called cash. And then it's also called IOUs. You know, you could tell somebody, hey, I'll write it down. You owe me this. I know the power is out, and I can't do the e-transfer right now, but got an IOU. Easy peasy. Done. Don't need your digital currency. Bank of Canada also saying security and resilience currency, or currently, people can use cash with confidence when making payments. Similarly, a digital Canadian dollar would be designed to have the highest level of security, be resilient to cyber attacks and other types of threats. Well, how good is the government at protecting our security and safety when that's their number one priority? Ask someone in the Maritimes about how secure they feel when hurricanes roll in. We'll just see about the Canadian dollar being protected here. Anyway, keep on going on this one. If you are currently using any digital payment methods, example, debit or credit cards, online money transfer, digital wallet, how concerned are you about the security of these methods when it comes to protecting your money from cyber attacks, theft, fraud, or tampering? Wow. These questions don't read like questions. They read like answers. It's called leading questions. How much do you agree with this statement? I trust the Bank of Canada to issue a digital Canadian dollar that is secure, meaning it is resistant to cyber attacks, can't be stolen or tampered with. How secure do you feel, chat? How secure do you feel about the Bank of Canada having that kind of central authority over your life and everything that you want to do? That's called cash. Yes, it's called cash. Absolutely. But yeah, that's the thing. And cash is about to be worthless as well, but we can get into that as well. Privacy would be a key feature of a digital Canadian dollar, but it would have to balance with other priorities. cash transactions are private. Digital transactions may require collecting a certain amount of information to verify clients' identity and ensure that the funds are available. Oh, so all your details are in there. There's no anonymity. Oh, oof. That's a big old oof. Now, when you go to digital exchanges with cryptocurrency, you can trade the cryptocurrency online as much as you want. And this is all stuff that I'm not a crypto bro, by the way. Don't get that from me. I'm not a crypto bro. I don't own any cryptocurrency, but from researching, I understand a bit about it, right? So one of the things with cryptocurrencies, you can trade it amongst other people online all you want, but as soon as you try to cash out and take money in exchange for it, that's at those transactions, you have to go through particular transactions. I can't remember the term for it, but there's particular agencies that you're that you're able to do that with. Now, at that point, that's when you can ID a person if a crime has been committed. So these things are trackable, they're traceable. It's not all like crazy anonymity like everybody thinks. A Bitcoin exchange, there you go. So if someone commits a crime, you're anonymous until the coins involved are connected to a crime, and then whoever cashes out at the end, the police can, with a warrant, get that information. But yes, they need a warrant. They just don't have willy-nilly access to this stuff, which is what they're trying to give the government in this case. A future digital dollar would have to comply with laws and regulations around privacy and personal information. Like, you have it all. So what does it matter? You have it all. Have you ever heard the term, don't put all your eggs in one basket? Shut-up. That's the Canadian government right there. That's all of your eggs in one little basket. But here you go. We got this this clip here. Linda on Twitter posting this. All you have to do is show people that CBDCs will end wealth and privacy is show them this. Run-on sentences are difficult for me. I'm sorry. I woke up a few people today with this. Some of you say, what's the point of letting the Bank of Canada know we don't want it? I say, do it. It takes 5 minutes to do the survey. We need to be loud. Yeah, so yeah, do the survey. I've said this in previous videos. Do the survey. Let them know you don't want it. They're not going to listen, though. Like, they don't care. They're not going to lie.
Are being deducted.
But this is from a digital short animation where they're showing this dystopian future, and they describe the central bank digital currencies. Now, this, of course, was when it was still a conspiracy theory 2 weeks ago.
You have been paid 2,000 central bank digital tokens. The following fees are being deducted: accommodation fee, food ration fee, recycling fee, clean energy fee, personal greenhouse gas emissions fee, climate change fee, diversity fee. Your current remaining balance is 5 central bank digital tokens, and if not spent, it will expire in 7 days. You have been...
Indeed. Oh, yeah, that's that part that they don't tell people about, is the expiry. How your currency could expire if you don't spend it. Yes, they can take all these things away from you as you're being paid. Hey, all these deductions, these are just contributions, right? like your CPC or your CCP, your Canadian CPP. All these acronyms are just they're fooling with my brain. Yeah, your Canadian pension plan is just it's a contribution. It's not a tax. What are you talking about? That's not the kind of thing that are taxes. I'm not your buddy guy with a 550 super chat. It probably goes down right after banking collapse, and the government will be like, "Don't worry, your deposit is insured. Just download FedCoin." I'm pretty sure. Like, this is how it feels like it's gonna go. Nathaniel Racine, I hope I'm pronouncing that right again, with a 550 super chat. Buy Bitcoin. The halving is in 11 months. Bull run after Trudeau is done reprehensible damage. Not the Canada I played pond hockey in. Yeah, no, it's crazy. But all the currencies around the world are being depreciated massively on a scale like we've never ever seen before. Well, I mean, we've seen in particular regions. So we saw it in Zimbabwe back in the early 2000s. We saw it in Weimar Germany after the First World War. But we're definitely looking at some inflation stuff that, well, unsavory, really unsavory. But we have one politician that says he's not going to go with this stuff. We do.
3 times over target right now. And what is their punishment? Well, they're now considering giving themselves even more power. They're talking about creating a central bank digital currency so that your bank, you would deposit your money with a government-owned bank that actually reports to the finance minister. That would give the state the ability to track your transactions and to track down on political enemies of the government. We saw Justin Trudeau do that with the recent protest, seizing the bank accounts of political enemies. And you never would have thought that would happen in Canada. It would be a lot easier if he controlled the bank where all the deposits were found. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be clear. When I become Prime Minister, I will ban the central bank digital currency once and for all.
So I have a hard time when I hear a politician say, ladies and gentlemen, let me be clear. Chrystia Freeland says that a lot. She lies every single time afterwards. And don't get me wrong, I'm not poo-pooing on PP. I'm not gonna poo-poo on the PP. No. But come on, politicians tell us stuff and then they don't stick to their guns. So my initiative on this whole thing, my initiative in this is to make this such a campaign issue that PP can't poo-poo on his promises. That's the whole thing. Make sure PP does not poo-poo on his promise, especially this one when it comes to the digital central bank digital currencies. We need to make sure that this is one that he follows up on, because this is the road to serfdom. This is the whole idea of trapping people in a digital nightmare that they don't want to be trapped in, and I'm sure none of you want to. And this isn't the first time that he said it. Here's another clip of him at another campaign. This is at his campaign rally when he was running for conservative leader, and people were brought in and to shake his hand and were given opportunities to ask him questions. And here's one gentleman here.
If I could ask you just a quick question. One of my reporters saw you at a Langley event just a couple days ago, and we were just wondering what your opinion was on central bank digital currency.
Against it.
Absolutely?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to potentially pass legislation banning the use of central bank digital currencies in the future?
I'm open to it. I haven't decided if legislation is the right tool. To have it happen, you need the approval of the finance minister. The finance minister literally owns the central bank. And so it comes down to the finance minister who works with the prime minister. So I have to figure out whether legislation is appropriate and necessary. I'm not sure it is. But
well, he said there that he's not sure that it's appropriate or necessary, and then later on went on to say that he does not support it absolutely. So I'm hoping we can take the guy at his word. I really do hope so, and I'm frantically closing tabs here because I'm using all the RAM on my computer to run this stream at the moment. So bear with me as I frantically do this. But yeah, the hope is digital bank or central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. CBDC sounds like you catch something that you catch on campus on a good weekend, but no, it's a bad thing. Well, those are bad things too, and this is even worse. This is something that'll stick around and linger even longer than some of those things that you'll catch at a frat party. Let's just say, to say the least. But hey, where are we going? Where are we going with this? Tonight, ladies and gents, I want to bring in a special guest, and I want to do a good introduction here because I've been following this guy for a bunch of years, and it turns out we've been following each other on Twitter for some time, unbeknownst to myself. And I was like, "Oh, holy cow! I want to get this guy on here." And well, that is Uncle Hack, and here's his channel. It's called Danger Cats, and he's had this. Let me get the chat out of here real quick. He's had this channel for gonna say at least 4 years, because that's how long I've been following it. But yeah, a lot of fun on this channel. He's a comedian, and it's amazing because it's a flavor of comedy that you don't get to see much anymore in this woke Canada, this woke Western world, where you get to see somebody who's just not afraid to just say whatever and watch things get really spicy. So I'm gonna show you a couple of clips before we bring him on in here and just let you get a taste of the kind of sense of humor that you're gonna be watching for the next little bit here. Here's one clip from the channel.
Hey honey, you're not gonna believe it, I got a special surprise for you. I talked the US military, Air Force, to do our gender reveal today.
Oh my gosh.
Well, thank God it's white.
Okay, I'm gonna get flagged for that. Not for the language, but for the music on that one. But we also have this other clip here. This one I thought was great and fitting.
My name is Dixie Normus, and I defecate in the women's washroom at Cadbury head offices. And to celebrate International Women's Day, we decided to change our famous chocolate bar Mr. Big to Miss Big. We're also gonna add an extra inch to our Miss Big chocolate bar because women can have gigantic penises too. Girl power. We want women of all sexes to feel comfortable eating our chocolate during their periods. When you're this big, they call you Miss. Miss Big. Don't let your penis define the lady you truly are this International Women's Day.
Unreal. And this is the kind of comedy that we can expect from Uncle Hack here on YouTube. And well, why don't we just bring in the man himself, Uncle Hack? Welcome, and nice to meet you finally for the first time.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. Okay. So it's been a riot. I've been following you since like back in your webcam days, and yeah, no, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. It was funny to see that you've been following me on Twitter for a bit because of what I do here, but. Well, just fill me in. Like, how do you get away with the stuff that you say on YouTube? I'm always concerned. I said tranny in a live stream once, and I got flagged, and maybe I'll get flagged for just having said that now. But you're not pulling any punches, and that's what I love about your comedy.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just stopped caring.
That's it. Just stop caring. Fair enough. Well, you recently came out to British Columbia. I missed that show, which sucked because I only found out about it like a day before it was going on. I went and saw Ben Bankus the day before, and that's why I couldn't go back down to Vancouver. But yeah, we've got characters that are coming out here that are totally not of the woke in a woke town. How did your show go, and did you run into any issues while you were out here?
No, you know what, man? I'm not big enough for anybody to care when I come into town. So, you know, like nobody gives a shit. It's funny. Like I get the online stuff from time to time, but apart from like people showing up and trying to like ruin the show or anything like that. And quite honestly, if it did happen, I would be stoked because that's like, it's a high honor to get to a level where people will get off their ass to come and like try and ruin your day. To me anyways, maybe most people, they probably think normally about it, where they're like, oh, that would suck to have some people being assholes. Or sorry, am I
No,
not
you.
supposed to swear
Yeah,
out?
no. I've already warned the audience because normally I don't have a lot of swears on the channel, and I do that just so people, people are watching the videos with their kids in the room and stuff like that. But I gave the heads up, kids, earmuffs or whatever you gotta do, because you can't have a racy comedian on and not have any swears. So everybody, that's your warning. But back up the kids or get your headphones on. This is the way that the rest of this stream is going. But no, I really appreciate you coming on, because this woke world, like, how do you navigate this as a comedian? Because like people are telling comedians, what is it? A couple of years ago, a Vancouver comedian got hauled before a human rights tribunal, fined $15,000 for making fun of some lesbians on the front row at a show. Like, how do you navigate this world?
Yeah, like I said, I don't care, and like if that comes my way, then I'm sure the headlines will and whatever backlash comes from it, will ticket sales go up, so that 15K got fined. Now you basically paid $15,000 for like the best publicity you could get in this day and age. You know what I mean? Like that shit, like people just go nuts over that, and then it goes viral. So I mean, as a comic, you want to grow your audience and be able to speak to more people. If something like that happens, like I'm stoked. Yeah, I'm happy about it. But I guess that's just a different perspective to have on like something like that. I get it. Like some comics don't want to do that. They have their path and they're set in their ways, where like I've already said too much heinous stuff on the internet to CBC is out of the question. Getting these festivals like the Winnipeg Comedy Festival, the Halifax Comedy Festival, they don't want me unless I can move tickets for them. So I'm in a weird gray area right now where, see, the funny thing is this wokeness goes away when you can make them money. So, because if you look at like these festivals and everything, some of the comedians on there are just as filthy and just as dirty as me, and they've been doing it 10 times longer, and they have a track record. So nobody cares when money is the main goal. It's just like a front to, almost, it's like barriers to put in front of up and coming comics. That's all it does. It does nothing good for comedy, Yeah. So the only thing it does is it just gives American headliners more opportunity to make more money in Canada, because those are the names that are going to draw people out. You don't give anybody in Canada the opportunity, like if they want to do the type of comedy that we're doing with like Danger Cats, like Brett Forte and Sam Walker and myself, it kind of shuts the door on that. So I came into this with like a social media following, so it was just like I was already set in my ways before. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh well, today I'm gonna really try to educate some people. I'm really gonna make them really think why they shouldn't vote right wing. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's not about that, right? But that's always the feeling that I get from. Oh, sorry, I'm hearing myself back a little bit. I'm not sure if that's on.
Is that me?
I don't know.
It might be. Sometimes this thing, I'll switch it to. It might be an echo.
Is that better?
How about now?
Oh yeah, it's much better. Yeah, it's much better. So, but yeah, I almost lost my train of thought there. But so yeah, that's always from what my perspective is when these people are going out and they're saying you're not allowed to say that, you can't say that. I always feel like they think that you're trying to swing people politically, like get them to think a certain political way. But from my perspective, comedians, they don't care about that. It's just about what's a funny punchline. So like, where did you come from? Where did you grow up?
Taber, Alberta, small southern Alberta town.
So like a lot of your comedy really reflects that. Like from my perspective as a Canadian, I grew up in Windsor, Ontario, but I also spent time up north. And every time I watch your comedy, I'm just thinking of all my friends that I know from up north in Ontario. And it's really just like backwoods, like sticks kind of humor. and it's what's funny. It's what a lot of people are thinking, and if you've got a clever punchline, then it's like it's that's what delivers. It's not really about like politics or anything like that. Not like I cover politics and I can dish out all the political stuff, but every time I go to these comedy shows, or if I watch a show that, you know, people are protesting against, and then you watch it, and that's not really what's in it. Like, so how do you even navigate that world where everything is politically charged? But, well, I know you said you don't care, but like,
yeah, no, I understand what you're asking is like, how do you navigate like through maybe the scene and like the little things? Because I did have to get involved with like comedians and then, you know, be allowed on their shows, because like a lot of it, when you're up and coming, it's a lot of open mics, and you're involved in a comedy community. And some towns, like, you know, you hear the horror stories that, you know, oh, you can't say this on this show, and then all this shit is like put in front of them, where it just like depletes the comedy. Where Edmonton is wicked for that. You know, there's a lot of guys that have been in the game for a while, and when this kind of woke, or, you know, kind of word policing starts happening, a lot of it's already a band of like good people, and they're like that's not what we're about. Nobody gives a shit about what your political leaning is. Like, there's guys that vote left, right, NDP, it doesn't matter. The main focus is like, be as funny as you possibly can. And that's the cool thing about coming up in the Edmonton scene, is like, they don't care. Like, nobody in the scene cares. And then when some of that starts coming up, or and like maybe somebody new comes in and be like, you can't say that, and start trying to do that shit, they get pushed out to the edges. They have a difficult time getting on shows. Nobody wants to deal with them. So it's actually the complete opposite here.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And like, the good comics get booked on stuff because, you know, there's some old school bookers up here that are like, we don't care. This stage isn't meant for activism. These people pay to laugh. Nobody gives a fuck nobody gives a.
It's good. It's good. Don't worry about
it. No one cares. All right. Like, get up there and make them laugh. And so that's the cool thing about this city is, you know, obviously there is woke shows that take place, and they have their comics and they do their own thing, you know, like, it's totally separate from the people that are actually doing something cool. And it was rad. Like, when I came here, or when I first like got into the open mic scene and everything, I thought like, I've already painted myself as like, you know, wearing blue coveralls, pro oil, all this. And like, there's certain parts of the city, like anywhere, that like, that attracts kind of the artsy folks and shit. So I was like, I'm gonna have a tough time just like, not even making friends, but I thought like just getting involved. And it was totally opposite. Those guys were just like stoked. They're like, hey, we got a new dude on the scene. Like, this is cool. Hey, you should come to this show. You should do this show. And like, they were recommending like, hey, check out this Facebook group and hit these mics. And you got time next week to hop on my show. So like, they're very welcoming.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool, actually. It's amazing that like on the backside of things it's not exactly like what we all think is happening, because we see this on social media, and holy cow, YouTube's got its issues. Twitter had issues. Now it's pretty good now. But how do you see the online world versus the stand-up comedy world? Like, I do my shows every day. I have like a live stream every Friday. I do videos every morning, but I'm just talking to a camera and I have screens around me. You're up stage in front of like a shitload of people, and like, you could, if you bomb, right? But that's, if I have a video that bombs, I mean, like, just whatever. I'll make another video. Yeah. There's not much attached to it. Like, it's way more up close and personal.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, though. That's the art, you know. So it's you got to bring it. You got to make sure your writing's tight, and it's hard work, you know. Like, it's a different type of work, but it's still like you you try. That's another thing too. Why I really am stoked to be a part of the Edmonton comedy scene, because these guys give you room to, figure out what is funny. Because if there's barriers in front of you and you don't know what's funny, you need a stage, you need a crowd to know what's funny in that room. And it could be the room's off, maybe the joke isn't good. It could be a number of things, but to have the ability to go up and attempt, that's the big thing. It's all about the attempt, and everybody up here recognizes that and they embrace that. So like you get the freedom to go up there and try whatever you want. It may not work that time, but you can work it out as time goes on. And like I said, these showrunners up here give you the freedom to give it a whirl, and no matter how edgy or how silly or quirky or whatever it is, they don't care. It's just like you're going up, and those people that are sitting in the audience, those are your test subjects with the material that you have. So and you don't get that very often. You might get, sometimes you might get 5 minutes a week, or you could end up getting an hour and 30 of stage time. So it's all, you take advantage of it.
I'd say that I don't know how to fill an hour and 30, but I do a 2-hour live stream every week. So I think once you get out there, I guess once the ball gets rolling, you just kind of roll with it and do it.
I don't mean like an hour 30, like go. I mean like an hour 30 over the week. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow, that's a big set. That's like a really big set.
That's pros. Those are the pros that are doing
that's
it,
like a special kind of thing.
Yeah.
But so one thing that always comes to mind when it comes to comedy is John Cleese, I think, famously said, I'm paraphrasing, that, in every joke it's inherently kind of got a bit of malice to it. Like every joke's kind of throwing a dig at people. And that seems to be like a thing that people just can't handle these days. Like, oh, well, you can't, you got these Karens, they're, you're not allowed to say that, you can't have that. But like everything is a dig. And I work in a shop. Like that's my job. I'm a mechanic. This is my career. Yeah. I've always worked in like situations like that, either as a mechanic or as a guy at a rock crusher. I've done all kinds of jobs in the mining sector and industry. And people are digging on each other all day long. You don't have room for not being offended. Like offended is what you are perpetually every day. And you cash your check and you're offended. Like that's your whole life is offense. So like this is what I find refreshing about what you do, is like it reminds me a lot of just like blue collar life, where you just that's it. Did you actually, have you worked as a blue collar guy in Alberta? And how did you get into comedy? Like where did that all come from?
To answer your first question, it's always been labor jobs that I've had growing up. Like I worked in a shop too. I was like when I was living in Lethbridge, I installed windshields for a while, then moved back to my hometown, and then that's when the working in the oil industry started. And then I got a job opportunity up in Edmonton, and then the videos and all that started. And then I've just always wanted to do it. It was like something when I was younger, like me and all my buddies, is like, I remember the first special I watched was Dave Chappelle's Killing 'Em Softly on Comedy Central when I was like 12 or 13 years old. And I was just like, man, this guy rules. That shit was so funny. I was dying laughing as like a 13-year-old at Chappelle's special. And then that kind of like birthed this like attraction to stand up. And then me and my friends all got it. Like we were buying stand-up specials, like the CDs, and trading them and shit. And it just started from there. And then there's no comedy scene in Taber, Alberta, so how the hell you even get involved? And then once I was in Edmonton, I was going and just watching like open mic comedy like years before I even thought of giving it a try. And excuse me. Finally, I just kind of hit my low, man. I was really, I was doing like a lot of blow and drinking, and I hit an absolute low, and it was the worst I've ever felt in my life. And just like life was hitting me hard. And then I was like, you know what, man, this is probably the time that I find a new hobby rather than doing cocaine. And
okay.
and then I went and I ate a dick at a open mic in Edmonton, and I was like, I like this shit, because it like I felt inspired again and wanted to do something with it, and I just like I bombed so hard.
Bombing got you inspired. That's
yeah. Because I was like, I want to figure it out. It was like even I used to fight, so like the first time I went into a martial arts gym, I got my ass kicked. First time sparring, and it's like, I can, that's when like, oh, this is for me or it isn't. And I was like, okay, I can get better at this, and I can compete with these guys. I know I can. I just got to be here all the time. And then that same mentality kicked over to comedy, and it was going to every mic I could. But lucky for me, the shutdown happened right after my first ever open mic. So
how did that affect you?
It sucked, dude. It sucked. So, the shutdown happened, and then I just was like, okay, well, no sense being pouty about it. Sit here and write. Come up with new material. That clearly did not work. So go back to the drawing board. And then, that honestly helped. That was the only positive I can think of being locked indoors for ever.
Yeah, well, everybody hated it. I'm hearing myself back again. I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, it's doing that again.
It
keeps like, I don't know why, but it's
yeah, I'm still hearing it.
Still?
Yeah.
Okay. How about now?
Now it's good. Yeah, it's good. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, but anyway.
It's something with this mixer. I don't know what it is. It'll be good, and then all of a sudden it decides like, and then I just gotta switch the input on whatever device.
It just decides that it's not gonna be good for. Yeah, that's fair.
Yes.
I have finicky equipment like that too. But lockdown was awful for a lot of people. For me, like I just kept working. It was no different. I'm considered essential. I guess comedy's not essential, but booze is. I never understood how they determined what was essential and what wasn't, because it's like everybody stay healthy, but go home and get boozed on the government dollar. Like that was a thing.
And we'll enable it by handing you money and encourage you to sit at home and be a drunk and just eat garbage.
yeah, that's what happened. So like a lot of the fun stuff that I wanted to do was turned off. So I buried myself in work and whatnot. And then here we are all these years later. But I was following you way before the lockdown even happened. You were doing sketch comedy on YouTube. Danger Cats has been around since way before the lockdown, and you've had some success with that.
Yeah. I don't even know how to explain it, man. I was bored at work one day and just thought like these videos would be fun to do, and just started doing like, I don't know. I would just hear like how people would talk in the oil patch, and it was funny to me, and because it reminded me of home, and like that's how me and my buddies talk to one another. We're not sitting here trying to have intellectual conversations on how to solve world hunger. No, we're like talking about tits and getting hammered, like just guy stuff, and then I don't know what I was sifting through YouTube and I couldn't find anybody. I was like, I can't find nothing. I don't even know where to look for this type of humor. So I was like, piss on it. I'll create it myself, I guess. And it just worked. I don't know. I can't sit here and act like I'm some sort of marketing guru or anything. I just took the things that I like and just made sense out of it. And it became fun during that time, and just like being almost obnoxious in a way online and creating a ruckus and finding other people that like the similar things I do and had similar interests, hobbies, whatever it could be,
So that's what appealed to me, was the obnoxiousness of it. It was like really early internet kind of feeling. I would show a clip, but like everybody can go check out the channel and see some of the like more viral videos. And it was just like, here's the weather in Canada today from the perspective of like an oil field worker. And it was great. And there was just like stupid explosions like uncalled for explosions and shit, like no reason for it, but it just like thrown in there. I loved it, and that it had such an appeal. I'm like, okay, I'm subscribing to this guy, and then I see years later you doing stand up. Now, how did it go with the during the lockdowns? So I know Ben Bankus, he's from Toronto, and he was getting together with other comedians in like I can't remember, High Park or whatever it's called in Toronto, and they were doing outside shows, and they were getting busted. Like they had the police coming out and shutting them down. They're all standing 6 feet apart and whatever, but like no, can't have fun. How was it in the Western scene in Alberta for comedy?
Dude, we're rebels out here. That's how we get down in Alberta. We didn't give a fuck, man. We were doing shows. Fuck them. Yeah, we had
like
we
in
had
clubs?
Our spot.
In clubs or outdoors?
Well, I can't out them. I don't want to out them. I don't know.
Oh, okay, like, yeah, you don't have to tell me where, but just like you can describe.
Yeah, no,
barely like what it was like.
There was chairs and booze. That's all that mattered.
That's great.
Yeah, man. Like it was tight. Like there was a lot of folk that were down with what we were doing, and they knew that we didn't care. We weren't about what was happening, so we just said, "Piss on it. We'll do our thing, and we just won't share the address." And we still were able to get folks out. And there was even a room where they let people smoke weed inside and shit. So we were like the rebels without a cause. Well, with a cause, I guess. So the rebel with a cause, and we were still doing shows. Me, Sam, and Brett.
That's crazy. So they were like speakeasies. In Alberta. Yeah. Oh, that's great. like Prohibition era stuff happening during the pandemic.
Honestly, it was a lot of fun because it was like, people were on edge and what we're talking about and what we're saying on stage is just like, what the hell is going on? And it already has a feel like what we're doing and is like, oh man, we can get in shit for this. So it made comedy a lot of fun, man, without having to, be obnoxious out in the field with a shotgun. It's just like, I got a microphone and you just like, it felt good. It just felt good to be like punk rock again,
That's crazy. That's something I wish I could have been a part of. That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah. Doing stuff against the man, damn the man. And it's so funny. Yeah. It's so funny because like a lot of the stuff that you're not allowed to say these days, or even during the pandemic, they say, you in your comedy, you should be saying this or that. And it's like, comedy's always about punching up. Like I've never understood comedy that punches down. It's not funny. Like when you have comics like trying to speak out about, Trump getting impeached or something like that. And you're like, it doesn't have the same sting because you're not fighting against somebody who can, and maybe that's a bad example, but like, making jokes that just, they're not racy. There's no like risk to saying what you're saying. Like it almost feels more impactful if you're actually going against somebody who you're not supposed to, or you're not allowed to say something about.
Yeah, that's the fun part, man. Is like, how do I write something that's so, how do I write something that an audience is just like, no, it doesn't matter what you think, what your opinions are or anything, that can make them laugh. And just like dicking around, man. Of course you're going to get, we don't necessarily get the like arms crossed. We kind of establish ourselves of like who we are and what we do with our marketing and whatnot. And it attracts who it attracts. And so we get, people walking out and shit like that, but nobody creates a ruckus because, when you come to our show, it's like every single one is different every time because it could be, one crowd's obnoxious, they're drunk and they want to, yap with you. So you're getting into verbal altercations with them and it's fun. And then we enjoy that. And that's what separates us, I think, from other shows is like most people don't like that behavior, but we kind of encourage it. So, and of course you don't want it in the show, right? But if it happens and you just deal with it. And some comics can't can't deal with it. And I'm not trying to trash anybody by saying that, but it's just like, you press play and do your jokes. And if you can't handle a rowdy audience, and quite honestly, if I'm shooting you straight here, when you come off the road going and doing our shows, and then you get into, an open mic where people are paying attention and shit, I already got my gun out and I'm drawing like, who wants to say some shit? I'm ready. I'm ready to talk some jazz with you bastards. But because I'm so used to just being like someone calling me gay or something like that. And it's actually like refreshing. You think it would be the opposite, like you go and do a show and you're like trying to prepare for the worst, but the worst has already happened. And the open mic is like easier. I don't get it. It makes no sense.
Oh man, so like that's one of the big things that I think a lot of people fear the most if they ever did a stand-up is the hecklers. Like you go in, you're prepared with something, and then somebody comes up. But some of the best moments in comedy gold are heckler moments.
Yeah,
but I think it's like hit and miss, right?
Oh yeah, man, and like you never know what somebody's gonna say, so just like let it roll, just surf that wave, have fun. Comedy's all about having fun. I don't get these idiots that are always like uptight and they're on side. This is my show, and it's like, shut up. Just be fucking. We're comedians. We're the jesters, and you're over here trying to be like you're creating art, like a magnificent piece of art that should be next to the Mona Lisa. Shut up, tell your dumb shit, and let the next idiot go up. Like we're all morons. Relax.
Well, where do you draw the line? So like there's what they used to say that the court jester, there's like kind of the responsibility of the court jester to hold truth to power kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess you don't have to do that all the time. It's just you're making jokes.
Yeah, and have fun with it, like don't hold yourself to such a high standard. Like Jesus Christ, I don't get it. That annoys me is like the ego of comedians sometimes. And it's like, you realize that we go up and like everybody started talking about their genitalia to get their feet moving in or whatever, some stupid porn joke, the old, I watch too much porn, and we all have done that at some point in time. And I'm still young in this game. So I probably still do it, and just like throw away comments or something like that. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm better than, who's ever in the audience. That's the ticket buyer. We're on the same level. Let's have some fun in here. I got the mic. I'll say some wild shit. We'll all party and have a good time.
So
1984 in here, baby.
Oh, that's awesome. So you don't just do that, but you have the Uncle Hack podcast, which I've tuned into a bunch of, and they're fun to listen to, and it's more off the cuff, right?
Yeah, I'm just I don't know. I can't like give you a description of what it is. It's just me looking at things and just like whatever comes to mind in that moment, and it could be I'm being serious. I could be in a silly mood. I don't know what it is. It's just fun. I try to have fun, and like I try to put myself in somebody's shoes that could possibly listen to this, and like what's gonna make the drive home a little easier of like a maniac yelling in his spare room,
I've tuned into a bunch of them. They're fun to listen to when I'm at work and I'm pulling wrenches and fixing stuff. But one thing that I really like is the what do you call it? Uncle Hack, Ask Uncle Hack, or
hate mail.
Hate mail. That's it.
Yeah. Everybody's like getting banned off of social media. Sorry, I shouldn't have drank this stupid sparkling water. It just made me like burp. I don't know if you can hear me like burp.
No, I get it every time I stream. I have soda waters here.
Oh yeah, the worst. But everybody's always getting their social media banned and whatnot. So I was like, hey, you know what? If you got some thoughts inside your head that you don't want to tweet, I'll read it. I'll just read it on the show. We'll do X amount and just email the show, and I'll read it, and you can make fun of me. I don't care. It just like, if you want to tell me I suck, by all means, that's good content. I'll sit back and I'll read your email.
I love it. And I encourage everybody in the audience to go check that out. I'm getting the hear back thing again. If you can just do a tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then hopefully, yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay, nice. I wanted to switch gears a little bit and talk about Alberta right now. So Alberta, like, I know you're a comedian, but you must have political views and stuff. You did a segment today, and I think it was today you put it out. It cracked me up huge, and I'm just gonna play it for the audience to see it, and then we'll talk about it, because there's been forest fires in the West Coast here, and well, especially in Alberta. And holy crap, this cracked me up. Let's just get right into it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just letting everyone know I will not be having a questioning period. I've got a tea time at Lewis Estates, which I'm already going to be late for. Just reminding everyone that there is a strict fire ban in Alberta still, and that we are adding measures to ensure everyone in the province stays safe during this time. Firstly, after seeing what happened in Banff with Canada's first ever Women in Fire training, we will be suspending all funding to any female ideas in the province immediately. And yes, this includes trans women as well. We want to ensure we are still being inclusive. Right now, as the province is set ablaze, we don't need women thinking. If we see any women thinking, you will be fined $2,500. Adding to that, if we see any women camping alone or alongside female-only campers, they will be imprisoned for a mandatory 120 months. And lastly, women using a lighter, matches, or any items that can create fire without the supervision of males will be sent to Saudi Arabia to learn gender roles. Thank you, and we appreciate your patience while we sit back and watch the province burn to a crisp and do the bare minimum. Sorry, I have a tea time to catch.
That killed me. That absolutely killed me. So obviously the story about the what is it, the W tracks or whatever, the women's from Banff got your attention.
Oh man, I read that and I was like, you gotta be shitting me. And of course, like, the first thing as soon as I read it, I just looked at my girlfriend and I was like, what do you think about that, huh? looks like you guys are killing it out there. Like, shut the fuck up.
Oh man, so it was funny because I was waiting for a few days to see how the story would develop, and the media buried it, and I was like, oh, it's that bad, is it?
Yeah. Good one, guys. Way to fight toxic masculinity, like burning the town down. You idiots.
And oh my god! And the best part was, it was women international. So they were putting them through this training exercise. For those that don't know, okay, for those that are listening that don't know, and you didn't see my video on it, they were doing a training exercise in Banff for women in firefighting, and they brought in women from jurisdictions and different countries from all over the place. I think it was like 30 some odd of them, and
not enough.
and it was all about diversity and inclusion and all of this stuff and all the woke stuff, like all the it rung all the bells. Let's just put it that way. It rung all the bells. And these women were all not given opportunity enough in their own places. So they brought them to Banff to give them an opportunity to do a controlled burn. Well, the whole controlled part of it went right out the window. They set the whole place alight. And, if the winds changed and...
Right, yeah. The wind. We'll call it the wind. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. No. We were expecting it to come out of the east, and next thing you know, it's a west wind, and I'm stuck out here with 30 women that don't understand a west wind fire. We were preparing for an east wind fire. We spent all that time in the classroom. Next thing you know.
But yeah, I mean, it was just a perfect storm, I guess. The perfect storm of all the things that were right down the middle of this is what happened. And I thought personally, like, no, like it was something else, wasn't it? Like it was actually an accident. And usually if it's actually an accident, the media will go right on anybody who criticizes them and say, you're a sexist for having said so. But they buried the story. They just didn't talk about it. They completely veiled on it. Like, no.
That's what we call is a fire sweep.
Well, they had a bunch of male journalists doing the sweep on that one.
Yeah.
It was effective.
Like, what do you can't even defend it, you know what I mean? Like you just have to sit there and like take it, like you whatever, fucking we tried, okay? Oh, did you? You just have to like literally just take the lumps. So funny.
And it was so funny because like immediately like Twitter blew up about it. So people on Twitter started saying it, and it's like, you shouldn't say that. It's not a laughing matter. But this is where I kind of wanted to get at the whole punching up or punching down thing. So I think a lot of people who criticize it and say like, don't, you shouldn't say that, they think you're punching down. And what people don't realize is the power that like feminism and wokeism and all this stuff actually have in our society and in our culture today, that when you're poking fun at women, you're punching up. That's an uphill battle all the way. Right?
Oh yeah, we're punching up all right.
Yeah, right.
That's one way to get away with it. Yeah, no, don't worry, ladies, you're better than us. So can I make fun of you now?
Right. Oh, but it's so funny. Like you see it on news and you see it in commercials and everything. TV, I hate TV anymore. I can't watch TV because everybody's a Homer Simpson if you're a male on TV. You watch any commercials these days and you're just a dumb man. Every commercial seems to go that way. Even the radio gets it. Like you'll have like the strong woman character. It's like, oh, I know this smart thing. And then the guy says something stupid and you're like, oh, stupid guy, buy this product and your life will be better. And that's just like, yeah. It's definitely like you're punching down if you're going after dudes. You're punching up if you go after like feminism or any of these things. That's why your video cracked me up so much. I shared it with the guys at work and they're all cracking up to it. But everyone's kind of like looking over their shoulder. Are they allowed to laugh at this? And that's I think what gets me the most is the taboo of not being allowed to say it.
Whatever. What are they gonna do? Burn my house down?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, maybe oh, I don't know how to reply to that. That's funny. Oh man. Yeah, well that's just it. So well that was the story in the news. Oh, but yeah, you're not allowed to say it. You're not allowed to say it. Everybody's jumping down everyone's throat on social media about that story. When I covered it in a way where I was talking about not only that, it wasn't a whole video just dedicated to that. So I talked about that and apparently there was like environmentalists that were lighting fires in Alberta. And I don't know, do you know anything about that?
Really?
Yeah, so
it wouldn't surprise me. This just seems too calculated at this point, like this place is the only one burning down right now. It seems weird.
Well, there's a bunch of fires. There's at least 20 some fires going on currently.
They're all over the province right now, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's like Grand Prairie, Edson, and then like all along. Like it's, if you look at the like that fire map, it's like, holy shit! I didn't realize that many places were burning up right now. And then out in like Leduc area, they're all over. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's insane.
Spruce Grove. Yeah.
Well, you guys deal with this every year, right? Like this is kind of a normal well, this isn't, this extent of it isn't normal, but like fire bans is kind of like how do people react to the fire bans in Alberta? I know in British Columbia, people are pretty adherent to them. We get fire bans for long stints because it really dries up out here, but are people pretty good about it, or are they just like, I'm gonna have my fire?
Yeah, for the most part, like I don't hear of anybody really, I don't know. And I think right now you'd kind of be an asshole at this point if you're like, you know what? Fuck them. I got a 2.4 bush light. I'm a rage, you know, like I think for the most part, I don't really hear of anybody really having any fires or nothing like that. And you know, like apart from like that's something most people would just get behind unless you're just a full-blown Neanderthal and you're like, where like when it was COVID rules and restrictions out here, a lot of people, I seen a good chunk of people, especially in my hometown, that were like, kiss my ass. I ain't doing any of that. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of picky choosy, but this one makes more sense because if you have a fire, you're going to put like, it's like physical. You can see it, you know, like where I feel like COVID was like one of those things where it's like, I can't see it. It's fake, you know, like, and I still believe it.
Well, you know, like when it came to COVID, it was like, yeah, okay, everybody's telling you this is a real threat to everybody's life. And then it turns out like, well, if you get it, you just got to get sick for a couple of days and then you're good.
Yeah.
Like
we
all hid for that.
Yeah. That's it. You know, so like that's, I don't know. I feel like people are a little more receptive of like following the guidelines on this because it's like you can see it and it's actually like destroying lives, you know, destroying homes and people are being like uprooted from their communities. Like Edson, Alberta right now is a ghost town. I just was watching some stuff there and like the fire marshal and a couple of volunteers were getting interviewed and they're like, yeah, this is like depressing.
Well, I think people are pissed off right now because they're being evacuated from their places and they're like, well, nobody's saving my house. I want to go back and I want to go fight the fire myself.
Yeah. And you know, like communities like that, man, like the small town communities, a lot of those guys is like have the skills to take something like most guys in the oil patch have their fire training, you know, you need it. So these are like reliable, you know, resources and people that can put it to work and they already understand like a team mentality. I mean, you work in a mechanic shop, so you understand like you've got to work together on some projects to get it done, you know, and those would be the dudes I would want out there, you know. I'd want the WRTEX out there fighting the good fight and making sure that these guys are back in their trucks and they sit back and they watch strong independent women put out these fires like God intended.
like God intended,
yeah. Maybe it is time the fellas got to fall back and then they got to just watch the ladies take over and, you know, this is like the great reset that they were talking about. We just put women in charge, you know, like out here we got two ladies bickering back and forth on who wants to run the province and look what happens. The whole place burns to a crisp.
What do you think about that? You got two... you got two ladies. Yeah, you got two ladies bickering back and forth. That's funny that you word it that way. Sorry, I'm getting the feedback thing again. If you can tweak it, but yeah. So we've got Rachel Notley and we got Danielle Smith. We got, you know, everybody's kind of looking at it this way, like, okay, you've got your rural areas, they're all voting Danielle. You got your city, and it's kind of mixed match. Like people either want Danielle or want Rachel Notley, and it's like, well, did you get a job from the NDP, you know, while they were in government, or did you not? You know, that's kind of the line that they're drawing. Like,
Yeah.
from your perspective and where you sit, what do you see on this whole election thing? Is it a thing to worry about, or do you think it's whatever? Who cares? Whatever happens.
Truthfully, I kind of like Danielle because she's a loose cannon at times, you know, like just pulling like, hey, we're going to do the Sovereignty Act and you guys can all beat it out east. And it's like, okay, you're a little bit of a renegade. I like that. You know, I don't even give a shit. If she was NDP, I'd be like, oh, okay, right on. Here we go. Fire up the chariot. Let's see what you got. But right, it's so stupid, man, because they're just like going back and forth. It's like watching two high school girls that just got Snapchat and all their ads are just like, Danielle Smith, she gives hojos in handicap bathrooms. And then it's like, and then there's like, it's just a slander fucking back and forth. It's so dumb.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Fair enough. It does appear that way, and that's how the politics run. But you lived in Alberta under Rachel Notley, and you've lived in Alberta under the Conservatives. Like, did you see a big difference, or was it just kind of business as usual on your neck of the woods?
When Rachel was in power, that's when I was still like pipelining. So it was like I got affected by the whole like oil prices things. Now, is it her fault? Yes, 100%.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
All right.
Honestly, it kind of, I hate to admit this, but what her whole plan was of like using more trains is that's how we moved the oil that I worked for a pipeline and we just operated a line that went to a tank farm, and the tank farm then pumped it into train cars and shipped it out of the country. So it didn't stop my work any means. The price of oil dropping affected my wage, but you know, I think that's just all pish posh at this point. You know, it's just like two idiots. It's like two class heroes that, you know, didn't win prom queen or king. And so now they got to play the popularity contest in their 40s to try and feel something, you know, that they missed out on. That's all it seems like to me, is all these like elections and whatnot. Cause it's not even like, I just caught I hopped on 5 minutes while you were still talking about like Pierre and shit like that. Even him, like you just watch him and you listen to it. It's how can I slander Trudeau? I can get the blue boys charged up that somebody's actually talking some smack to him. And then everybody gets fired up because they're like, oh, Pierre's racist. And then you defend this guy, and it's just us bickering back and forth. Meanwhile, these morons still like collect a paycheck and just give themselves raises whenever they feel like. So it all seems like a sham now. And I hate to sound like an Alex Jones supporter, but it's just, I'm not buying into the whole democracy thing these days.
Well, there was that one picture, and it was like Jagmeet Singh, Polyev, and Trudeau all together in their like Chinese outfits at the Chinese New Year thing. And
it's so dumb.
It's so perfect. It was just like the perfect picture to represent like the establishment, and like that's the uniparty. They're the guys that are going to control everything no matter what. There's not a lot of holding their feet to the fire at this point. That's why, like, when you tuned in, I was talking about, if we're going to make any issue a thing that the guy can't back down on, let's make it this one. And I was talking about the CBDCs. I'm pretty firm on that. What do you think about the central bank and the Bank of Canada making it a digital dollar that they could just print out and give you cash whenever they want?
I don't want the government near me. I don't like them. I don't want them controlling the money. I don't want them following my transactions. This is the biggest step towards losing every ounce of your freedom. And they're going to mask it in a way of making you think like this is a good idea. Because, how many times have you dropped a loony leaving the grocery store? Huh? And they'll do some
we got that loony for you.
Yeah, well, it'll stay right in your little digital wallet, and we'll make sure it doesn't go anywhere. But guess what? You can only drive your car 2 times a week. What do you think about that? And then, like that'll be in the back end and like all that dumb shit. I don't want those idiots should be there to make sure that the military is good and we don't have anybody come knocking on our front door. That's about where it should stop, And as far as like being involved in our personal lives of like what we're spending and how we're spending it should be totally out of the question. So now me and you can't trade back and forth without the digital fucking loony. And we can't make, maybe I want to buy that nice piano you got behind you. And I was like, and now we got to trade our digital loonies. And then, oh, you didn't pay tax on that.
Yeah.
Why didn't you? You're going to have to tax that. That was a sale. So now we're going to get some sales tax out of that. Like just the classic horse trading can't take place. Well, I guess it can. We could trade items and they can't, maybe we go old school and then we got to go like a Hutterite / Amish type living and we just trade goods with one another. Maybe like that.
Well, barter system. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
So
we go back to the days.
The problem with the barter system though is they call it the double coincidence of wants. So like you have to have the thing that I want to get and I have to have the thing that you want to get. And if not, then I got to go find some guy that'll trade the thing for the thing that you want so that I can trade with you. And that becomes an issue. And this is where currencies come into play anyway. You find like some commodity. It's got to have a few of the fundamental things to become a money, in a sense, a commodity. It's got to be, divisible. It's got to be able to store value. So it's got to be able to maintain its value over time. So like rice and salt and all those things, they can't really work for that. But and then everybody's got to kind of agree that, okay, that's that value, right? Like I'll trade that for other things. And then now you're back to money again. And that's, and then you're right back at square one and the government's going, yeah, well, I want to control that.
Yeah, that's it. I just don't want them anywhere near me. I don't like them. I don't like what they're up to. I don't like how they talk. I don't like how they look. I don't like them breathing my air.
Well, isn't that how it used to be in Canada? Like for the longest time, Canada was this idea that, yeah, I know taxes are a little high, but we have like good healthcare and the government just leaves you alone. Like the good healthcare and the government leaving you alone have all gone out the window and the taxes are even higher than they used to be. Like
exactly,
where the hell are we? Like at what point does it claw back? Or is it just like, are we going into dictatorship full bore?
That's what annoys me is we're too compliant as Canadians. It's still like it irritates me seeing people in masks and still trying to play the beat the war drum of the COVID stuff. We've never. The trucker convoy was like one of those things where I was like, regardless of my politics and whether I like this or not, seeing that many people get together and be like, piss on this was so nice and so refreshing to know that people out there have a spine and will say things. It's one thing. The BLM thing up here was like, oh, okay, I kind of understand it. People gathering and be like, yeah, Black Lives Matter. And it was about it, like it seemed to me like more of an American issue. Like I'm not a big fan of the police and I don't enjoy interacting with them. So I try and avoid them as best as possible. But like at the same time, like we have our own issues up here and whether it's like police brutality on blacks or whatever race you want to put in, it just seemed like that just kind of took over for a while. And then it also, while that was happening and COVID's taking place, the whole like measures thing got pushed aside. So then that like fogged everything even more for me. Cause it was like, oh, so COVID doesn't exist when racism is being fought. Like it took a lot for me to like sit there and my wheels were just spinning all day. It's like, I don't fucking get it. I don't understand.
Yeah, and they were allowed to go to the Black Lives Matter protest. That's fine. And but if you went to an anti like lockdown protest, like no, you should be locked down. You shouldn't be standing close to each other.
the one thing that like we should be kind of questioning. Nobody was really. They just were like, oh, okay. But then like something happens in America, and now we're upset. That was like the main thing that was like, okay, come on. Like what are we doing here?
Yeah.
That just doesn't make any sense right now.
When it got crazy too, like it went so far on the COVID thing. So they were saying, you know, we have this many cases. There's all these people in the hospitals, and people started saying, how many people are in the hospitals? Because we see nurses dancing all over Twitter and TikTok and stuff. How many people are actually in those hospitals? And then they're like, case numbers. Look, lots of case numbers. And then they started talking case numbers. We're like, well, this is how many people have been diagnosed with it, or you know, PCR tests. And then that got stupid because people didn't care and they weren't doing the PCR tests anymore. So what did they start doing? They started testing wastewater. They started testing people's like poo water to see how much COVID was out there. They were just so desperate to keep it going when everyone's like, we're done. It's over, man. Like we're ready to go back to work and do our thing.
Yeah. 2 years of my life was just sitting around and like getting angry. I was just like I'm not like, I usually don't get in confrontations in public, but it got like after a year, man, I was so fed up. Like I was getting in arguments with security guards. Like it was getting squirrely. And security guards, like it's like a Marvel fan base of like a faux superhero they all got in their fucking head. It was driving me nuts. You know, these little dweebs coming up. Like the one guy, I was at Booster Juice, and like this is still when I was like, okay, I wanted to go to Booster Juice. It's in like the one, we had an office downtown during it at the time, and then the Booster Juice was in like Commerce Place, so it's like a downtown kind of mall where everything's like interconnected.
Yeah,
and I was like, you know what? I'll just throw on the fucking mask so I can go get a goddamn Booster Juice because I'm hungry. Usually I bring my own shit, but I didn't bring nothing that day. I'll do the mask so I can get what I want. And as I was leaving, I pulled my mask down to take a bite, and like one of them was on me like white on rice, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I was like, I'm eating this. And I can't do that. And then like that was it. It was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I was like, yeah, well then make me not eat this.
No way.
What are you gonna do, you dweeb? So and I know that's not the proper way to like, you know, interact with other human beings, but it got to that point where I'm like, oh yeah, well, let's fucking fight about it, huh? What do you think about that, Spider-Man? You got your little web, huh? You gonna web me?
Well, you're gonna web me. Oh, that's funny. So like this is a problem. I think like internet culture has really affected all of us. Getting the feedback thing, if you could tweak it again. Yeah, internet culture has really set up this weird. I feel it like as if people are we're good, and people are like in cars. You know, like everyone gets road rage when you don't actually have to communicate with that person. But as soon as you get out of the car, then it's kind of like, I don't want to deal with this now. You know, but you're happy to, you know, shoot somebody the bird or whatever when you're behind a car. But like internet is like the same thing. But like 10 times worse, and you can say all the worst things to people and whatever. But when you're out in polite society, you can't do that. But COVID gave people a reason to be schmarmy like that. Just like straight up, just, you can't do that. I'm going to control what it is that you're allowed to do in this area. And it made people like freaking horrible to each other. And
100%.
And the thing is like people need to spit chiclets every once in a while. I hate to say it like that, but like there's something to be said about, and this is why I always say like women in the workplace or women in situations.
Oh, I'm listening.
They don't get it the way men get it, because men from an early age, when we associate with each other and we're talking to each other, we're doing this fine little dance of getting along and communicating, and maybe we disagree, but as soon as we meet in a spot that we disagree, we now have to navigate this up and until the point where fists are flying, because they will. And that's the thing. They will. Women will never, ever have that. Unless you're dealing with some like wife beater or whatever. But like in just polite society, you're not going to have like coworkers like griping at each other and then just like, okay, let's take this outside to a woman. You know what I mean? that never happens. So that the dynamic is just not gonna go the same. Do you get what I'm saying there?
No, I hit women. I hit them like a man would hit them, like my grandfather. I got passed down some good genes. I didn't spend all those years in a kickboxing gym not to lay out some ladies. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah,
right.
but no,
monetize.
But for real. So like, it was this weird thing though. Like during COVID, people were able to behave like they wouldn't without getting their lights knocked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. And somehow people just complied, and they were just like, okay, then.
Yeah, it got to it took me a minute. You know, I was being one of them compliant losers for a while, and then after I was like, no, I'm not doing this no more. I can't. It's just like it's eating me alive. I'm getting pissed off. So it was like grocery store, and once you do it, like the one thing is like once you know, a lot of people don't like confrontation. So as soon as you're like a beacon of confrontation. And just throw a look on your face like I'm willing to die today. And nobody will no one messes with you. It's like, you know, maybe lose a few hours of sleep, get some bags under the eyes, look like the kids have been screaming in the car for an hour, and then go charge in there and just power through. Nobody says jack shit to you. Nobody does anything. And like the one day I was in the grocery store and I could see this woman eyeballing me, and I'm like, say something. Do it. I'm there. I'm ready to I will speak my mind. And then she like casually walked up beside me and was like, hey, I love it. I love it. Thank God. I've been dying to see somebody just like not wear one of these goddamn things. And I was like, you know, you can just take it off. Like it's nobody's what you think the produce guy? He's too busy putting bell peppers on the shelf. He don't care what you're doing. He's like, he's done. He checked out. $16 an hour to get in a fist fight with a lunatic? He ain't doing that. Plus, you're a lady. Nobody wants to yell at women in public. Well, I did at that time, but I was losing my mind, man.
Yeah, I believe it. Oh, that's a great point, though. It's all these people. They had this illusion that everybody else was policing it. Like everybody thought that everybody else was not only compliant, but like the armed wing of the government to make sure that everybody stays in compliance and stays with these masks on. And then it turns out, nah.
Yeah. No, they weren't paying me. I didn't take CERB. I wasn't on their payroll.
Yes,
you know, so I ain't lifting your heavy work. Hire some goons to come boot fuck me then if you won't want me to do it like you're telling me not to, you know?
It's so funny too because Bonnie Henry, she's like the Teresa Tam of British Columbia. And she did her announcement to say when they were going to like lift the mask mandate and when they were going to lift the passport mandate, the vaccine passport one. And in that announcement, she just said effective now. And they asked her about it. Like, why didn't you do a countdown like all the other provinces? And she said, because everybody's just going to take them off now anyway. If I said in a week's time, everyone will take them off today. Like that's the end of it. It's
exactly.
Even though she's the worst of the shrills out here in British Columbia, at least she had the pragmatism to like understand that how human nature works.
Yeah, what's 7 days gonna do? Oh yeah, in 10 days you're gonna take it off and you're gonna be normal again. Like, well, what's changing from then or from now till then? Is anything?
Nothing.
Like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Oh man. We've been running at this for an hour now, and I like to keep these live streams at about 2 hours. And for all the people that have tuned in live, this is an opportunity for you guys to catch these as they go live. I'm going to be reposting this later so that everybody else in the audience gets to check this out. I want to thank you massively, Uncle Hack, for coming in.
Yes,
super cool. Like really, really cool to have other Canadian, quasi celebrities, comedians.
Whoa, easy on that celebrity comment.
Well, just people that I've been like I said, I've been following you for like 4 years now, and we've come a long way. Where here I am, I've got a show on the internet, and I've got the ability to pull talent like yourself and bring you in for a conversation. And I hope it's not the last one, because I had a lot of fun with this. And I hope the whole audience did as well. I'll kill the podcast portion of this, and then we'll get to some questions if the people in the live stream want to jump in and ask some questions for Uncle Hack, and then we'll wrap it up. So if you want to catch the live one, tune in for that. Otherwise, you're missing out. Let's get into some questions. We had a super chat from I'm not your buddy guy. He says, I love how they thought you had to wear a mask in the restaurant and could take it off at the table as though sitting down has some sort of protection.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Well, when you're see what you don't understand is it's like, okay, we had one hole covered, right? When you're standing, you had this covered, right? When you're sitting, your asshole was covered. So at least one hole is covered at all moments. So when you were it doesn't make sense, I know, to like regular folk, but to like retards like myself and politicians who are also retarded, it makes total sense.
Right. I thought it was kind of like ducking in a gunfight when you don't have cover. Just like...
Yeah.
What do we have here? T-Bass, he says, we'll bring you back. Last call, Nick and Ahmed. I don't know.
It was like a live stream where we'd have callers call in, and then I had two other comics here in the city, Ahmed, and Nick McQuick, and we would just sit there and just piss around. Basically, it was like we'd just let Ahmed run wild and have a wild time with him because he's just out of his mind. He's a cool guy.
Nice. Will you bring it back? He's asking.
Oh, I don't know. It's like difficult now that like shows are back, and because at that time like there wasn't any like open mics and whatnot. And now that stand-up's back, it's tough to lock both of them down for 2-3 hours at a time during the week. So they're out of town. They're doing road gigs, and then Ahmed's like working in the patch right now, so he's kind of hit and miss to get lock him down for a couple hours.
Yeah, it's hard stuff, right? Because like people are doing these things. You're up and coming. It doesn't mean like you don't have to have a fucking job.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat, right? I do all this stuff on YouTube, and I still work a 9 to 5. That's just the way it goes. Margaret Free saying, good show, laughing guys. Awesome. Yeah, no, this was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you having I'm getting speech jammed again. Can you fix that? Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Really
seems to be like every 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like clockwork. You're whatever it is on your end. But stick around after we end the stream, and I'll have some chat with you afterwards as well. So don't disconnect. I'm just gonna say goodnight to the stream here. Ladies and gents, thanks again. And of course, links in the description. We'll have that when the podcast goes out. Make sure everybody has all the links to your socials and all your stuff. But thanks again, Uncle Hack.
Thanks for having me, Clyde.
Cheers. And thank you guys for tuning out. Every week, every single week, you guys come in and join me in these live streams. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work all week doing the videos. On a serious note, as much as I can, every Monday through Friday, 2 to 3 videos a day. It's a lot of work, and it's awesome to have this opportunity to let off some steam, bring in some awesome guests, have some people just chat, have some laughs, and chat with the chat, of course, here. And I want to thank everybody once again. And Next week, unfortunately, we won't be having the live stream because it's my daughter's birthday. So family first. That's the way she goes. But we'll definitely be doing it the following week. So for everybody out there, thanks again. Might see you in the Discord later. I'm going to be having a chat with Uncle Hack for a little bit, and then maybe I'll see you guys over there. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one.